Yeah. So that's what we talking about, right? There's unbelievable irony in this video. Unbelievable irony in this video. Nostalgia all up in this video. And for those of y'all who know, y'all probably laughing right now like, you gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. It's sort of like an underground thing, but actually, for those who know, it's really very obvious. My man, The Weeknd, tell your friends about it, playing in the background. In my opinion, the hottest singer out right now, doing his thing. So, we'll get into that later. So check it out, right? Urban Therapy with Sun752, and this your daily go getimism number 371 for October 9th, 2015. And tomorrow is the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. So I'm getting ready to go. You know, I'm preparing to go down to and see the Million Man March. And I'm really looking forward to it because I went to the one 20 years ago, October 16th, 1995. I'll never forget it. Almost slept through the whole thing. Drove all night. Went down there. You know, I had to find me a nice tree, post up against it. It was out for a minute, but I woke up just in time to catch the Farrakhan finale, and it was an unbelievable experience. You know, like I want to see if tomorrow is going to be anything like the first one, because the first one was like, well, should I say it was unlike anything I had ever experienced in my life. I've never seen that many black men, you know, hugging, embracing, you know, showing each other respect, love, kindness. You know, it was just like fellowshipping with each other, networking with each other, pledging to you know, take it back home and do better. And a lot of them did go home and do better, and it did have a great impact on the community. It's just that a lot of people who never participated, didn't believe in it, and didn't go, or made excuses for not going, those are the ones who never felt the impact because they don't understand. And those would be the same people who don't go to this one. And I hope that has changed. It's been 20 years. We could do better than that. Anyway, hey y'all, yeah, hey, quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. All right, I'm saying some people have no respect, you know, for videography. Listen, today I want to talk to y'all about the way that people were raised. You know, when we talk about the way we were raised, some people use that as a badge of honor. Some people use it as their claim to fame, and some people use it as a way to use it as an excuse for anything that they don't want to do. So if somebody tries to introduce you to something new that you're uncomfortable with or that you don't want to do, you may know that it's probably good for you to do it, but either you're apprehensive about it, you're afraid of it, and you don't want anybody to know exactly why. So you'll say something like, you know, I wasn't raised to, you know, believe in that, or I wasn't raised to do this kind of thing. So you know, you're gonna have to help me out. You know, not everybody paints themselves into a corner like that, or uses it as an excuse. Sometimes it's a real thing. Often it's a real thing, because when you think about the way you were raised, you have to take into consideration that, you know, the formative years from the time that you're born all the way up until you start to rebel or make decisions for yourself or whatever you want to call it. You know, those are the years where the foundation is laid for you. So your parents teach you certain values. They teach you what's important to you. They teach you what's good. They teach you what's bad. They teach you, you know, the things that you should be attracted to. They teach you the things that you should be distracted from. They teach you, you know, how to say yes to certain things and what things to say no to. These are things that we should learn as we are being raised. Now, some of those things are very good. And if we are born to responsible parents who are probably progressive and smart and outgoing, then we probably learn a lot more from the way that we were raised than somebody who was raised by parents that didn't give their children a good head start. You know, unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that some people were raised by parents that were on drugs. And if you were raised by a parent that was on drugs, then you have a whole different learning experience from the beginning than somebody else who had parents who were sober. But it's not always like that because, you may be raised by parents who are like really, really religious, and that's not to say that that's a bad thing. It can be a really good thing, but it may give you a really how can I put it? It can give you a limited view up on the opinions that you can hold for people based on their belief or disbelief in what you were raised to believe in. In the black community, we have so many divisions, and one of the biggest divisions that we have is religion. If I'm raised as a Muslim and you're raised as no, if I'm raised as a Christian and and my friend is raised as a Muslim or a Jehovah's Witness or something like that, which actually Jehovah's Witnesses are Christians. It's just like I said, there are ways to divide people. We can get really, really stuck in that instead of accepting people for who they are, what their personality is, and what their God-given gifts are. But I guess if you're an atheist, those aren't God-given gifts; those are just abilities. Anyway, so when you start talking about the way that you were raised, it can really have an impact on the way that you see the world and the way that you accept the world and the way that you limit the world from becoming part of you. So in all of that, we have opportunities to expand our world, or we make the decisions to close the world off to us and say all we need to know is this in order to survive. Now, whenever I come in contact with somebody that seems like they don't want to really learn, and it's almost wrong for me to say that because it may not be that they don't want to learn. It's just that some people are practical to a fault. And the fault, in my opinion, is when you feel like the world isn't going to come to you and you're not going to go out and see the world. So all you need to know how to do is to live in the world in the space that you're in and you'll be okay. For example, I'm from Philadelphia. I know people from Philadelphia, born and raised in Philadelphia, who have never really traveled outside of Philadelphia. So let's say if you've never been too far out of Philadelphia, Atlantic City is 60 miles from here, and New York is somewhere between 90 miles if you're going right to Manhattan, which is closest to us. But if you're going out to like Queens or the Bronx, it can get to it can go 110 miles, 120 miles, something like that. But I know people who've never been to New York, and I know people who've never been to Atlantic City. Now, the significance of that is that, like I said, Atlantic City is 60 miles, and places in New York that we travel to can be 120 miles. So, that's like double. But I know people who haven't been that far. So, if you haven't been that far, you have really limited yourself to thinking that everything in Philadelphia is the way that things are. So you probably think that regardless of the internet, people in California are the same as people in Philly. They just have a different accent. People who live up in Chicago are the same as Philly. They just have a different accent. People who live down south in Atlanta or Florida, Miami, somewhere like that, Texas, they're the same. Just have a different accent. But it's not true. Their thinking isn't the same. The way they see the world isn't the same. And the way that they do things aren't the same. But you won't know that if you aren't raised to go out and check that out. So if you limit yourself, if you were born to parents who restricted you from wanting to learn about these things and find out about these things, it's almost like living in North Korea. Now, I mean that might sound a little bit extreme, but the way that I've been taught was that your third eye is your universe, because the way that by the way, your third eye is your mental state. That's your mind. So everything that you learn, everything that you retain, is your universe. So the way to expand your universe is to learn more and more and more. Because the more you learn, the bigger your universe becomes. The bigger the possibilities become. The bigger, the more expansive your options become. The less you learn, the smaller your world becomes. The more secularized, centralized it becomes. And the more limited your thinking becomes because you don't know that much. It's really not a hard concept. It's a deep concept, but it's not that hard. So if we have parents that raised us to not go out and explore, not to find out things, and they may be, parents may not mean to do that, but they may do that because they want to make sure that we remain safe. It happens. I mean, it's a natural thing to want your children to be safe. There's nothing wrong with that. But we got to be brave enough to go out and trust our people. I mean, talking about black people, man. Yeah, let me tell you something. Black people got to stop being afraid of each other. Ain't a way around that. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And listen, regardless of the way that you were raised, if you were raised with love and good intentions, then it will show. If you were raised with, if you were raised to be a thief or be a liar or be a cheater or be violent, that's who you are, and it's gonna get you into a lot of problems. And you're probably going to use that excuse somewhere in your life. Hopefully, it's not in front of a judge. But the way we were raised has a very, very definitive factoring motive in how we see the world and how far we're going to go and what our possibilities are. Use your third eye. Your third eye is your mind. Expand your mind. Read more. Stop watching those stupid reality shows and sitcoms and all of that. Stop getting all of your good quotes from comedians. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm a comedian. It's meant to make you laugh. I'm not saying that they're not intelligent, but your best quotes should come from people who were living this life, not laughing at this life. You understand what I'm saying? That's my opinion. I was raised to believe that. You know what I mean? Don't blame it on it. It's not my fault. It's the way I was raised. So, I got some good news for y'all. Y'all know we do the exercising thing every other week in the park. The Urban Therapy with Son, we had the spring cleaning event. We had the summer burn event. We had the Take the Fall event, and we're still in the middle of the Take the Fall event. Now y'all know we're starting to get a little chilly outside, and we have to deal with like the weather with it raining and things like that. The good news is that we have our own facility now. So now when we work out, we will be at 400 East Ontario Street at the McVeigh Recreational Center. So we're going to be indoors, even though we love to be outdoors. But now we'll be protected, and we'll be able to do this thing all through the winter. So every Saturday at 10 a.m., come to 400 East Ontario Street to the McVeigh Recreational Center. That's where we'll be getting it in. So every week, y'all have somewhere to do y'all jumping jacks, squats, and all. I got it all. I got it all ready for y'all, man. Just come through. You know what I mean? The thing is going to be live. Now, we are requesting a small donation. But there's no set thing. You give as you can. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know we've been doing this for a while. And we've been doing it from the muscle and all of that. Certain things do cost. And, we want to be able to continue to give. And if we get a couple of dollars, then we can start having better facilities. We can build and build. But like I said, whatever y'all can give, just do that. It's no set thing. $5, $10, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you feel like you can. But the most important, and even if you can't, you know what I mean? This is like church. You ain't gotta give nothing, and you don't. But it's for you. And we have the spot, and we're gonna do this thing every Saturday. I'm not sure. Just come through. 400 East Ontario Avenue, McVeigh Recreational Center. Urban Therapy with Sun, Sun 752. I told y'all that the hood is our help. I told you. I told you. I told you. You know what I mean? This is going down. Like, it's like the most, it's the greatest moment ever. You know what I'm saying? Get that with, UrbanTherapyWithSun.com. Get down with the movement. The movement is moving. It's moving forward. It's moving in the right direction. We want y'all to move with it. UrbanTherapyWithSun.com. Go ahead and register with the website, man. Let's get this thing popping.